Okay, here we have two linear equations. We have 2x plus 2, or y equals 2x plus 2, and we have y equals minus x plus 2. And what we want to do is we want to find their point of intersection. So remember that our point is a pair of numbers, okay? It is an x and a y value, and at this point here of intersection, both of these lines share or pass through this point. So that means that their y values are the same and their x values are the same. So if their y values are the same, that means that the right-hand sides of the equations must also be the same. So let's write that out. So we first write out 2x plus 1 is equal to minus x plus 2. There we go. So what we have here is an expression that only involves x. There's only an x in this term and in this term. And we want to find x. So our goal is to get something like x is equal to a number. So we want to isolate x on one side of this expression here. So we can do that. I'm going to bring all the x's, all the terms that involve x's to the left-hand side. So I can move this one right here to the other side, and when I do that, it changes sign from negative to positive. You know what? Let's do it in a different color here. It becomes plus x. Okay? And the 1, it doesn't involve an x. I'm going to bring it to the other side. And when I do that, it also changes sign. On the left side, it's plus 1, but when we move it, it's going to become minus 1. Okay, I leave the other terms the same. I leave the 2x where it is, it doesn't change. The plus 2 over here, it doesn't change either. The only things that change are the minus x and the plus 1 because I move them from one side of the equation to the other. All right, let's look at the left-hand side. The left-hand side, I have two terms that involve an x. I can combine them. They are like terms. So when I combine them, I add their coefficients. So there's a 2 and a 1. So this becomes 3x. And on the right-hand side, I combine the minus 1 and the plus 2 to get 1. Okay. So that's where we're at. And you know what? I did this completely wrong because, look at that. This shouldn't be a 1 here. That should be a 2, which means that number is wrong. So this is a good example of going back and checking your work and making sure that you didn't make a mistake. So I'm fixing everything right now. Right, it still doesn't look right, but here we go. Okay, so this is what we have. So I changed that 1 that I made a mistake to 2. It only involved this term here and this term here. So when I bring them up plus 2 to the other side, it becomes minus 2. Okay, so where does that leave us? Well, minus 2 plus 2 is 0. And if you look at this expression here, 3x equals 0, the only way to make 3x equals 0 is if x is equal to 0. So we found the x-coordinate of the point. So now we need to find the y. To find the y, we take our value of x and we substitute it into one of the previous equations. So I'm going to substitute x equals 0 into the first equation. So when x equals 0, y equals, well, I'm going to use the first equation, 2x plus 2. And I'm going to replace x with 0. So this x here just becomes 0. And then I have an expression just with numbers. I can evaluate it. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. So I found what the y value is. The y value is 2. So I've now found the point of intersection. It intersects at the point x equals 0 and y equals 2. And that's how we find the intersection of two lines. I hope this was helpful.